Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We're continuing with the chilly and mostly sunny conditions out there this morning with some slightly breezy conditions. The breeze has picked up a bit, seeing peak winds just below wind advisory criteria, so we'll run a slight chance as we move through our working hours today of seeing a wind advisory issued. Otherwise, things should remain fairly quiet, and we will see those temperatures starting to moderate a bit, currently sitting around 28 degrees, and do expect those temperatures to get above freezing for the first time in quite a few days today. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, we have high pressure. It's working its way into the local area, still seeing some remaining tighter pressure gradient with that area of low pressure that missed to the south over the weekend. So keeping that tighter pressure gradient is going to keep those slightly breezy conditions around. But again, as we see this high pressure building in, we'll see those winds becoming light and variable through the overnight. And then this next clipper system off to the northwest will be a quick mover, but will push through the area during the early morning hours of Wednesday, or more so overnight Tuesday and the early morning hours of Wednesday. That's going to bring some light precip through the area. Will be fairly short-lived, generally looking at mainly rain with that, but we will see a chance for some light snow mixing in here at Wallops. If we take a look at the current visible satellite, we can see those clear skies across the area and the snow cover still remaining across the region. We will start to see some of that dissipate as we see those above freezing temperatures through today as well as into tomorrow. We'll look at the high resolution model for what we can expect the next couple of days. As mentioned, just slightly breezy through the day today. We'll see still a cold day, but we'll see those temperatures above freezing, but dry conditions prevail. We will see mostly clear skies through the overnight, and the clouds will be on the increase as we move through the day on Tuesday as this clipper system starts to approach. We will see the precip holding off till mainly after the midnight time Tuesday night, and then as we move through the early morning hours, we see some light precip indicated on the model here. It looks like mainly Wallops will be right along that mixing line with points north, better chance of seeing all snow. We'll likely see rain with some snow mixing in here at Wallops, but overall precip totals look to be fairly light and not expecting any accumulation here at Wallops, maybe at most a dusting. Areas further north could have a better chance of seeing more of a dusting or to a half an inch, more towards the northern part of the peninsula, but overall not expecting too significant of an event with this, as it will be light precip and quick moving. And as we go into Wednesday, maybe some slightly breezy conditions, but we will see things remaining cloudy and dry as we move through that time frame. We zoom out here looking at the longer term models starting Wednesday night. We'll see that clipper system continuing to move through. We'll see another shot of some colder air move into the area with that trough driving that clipper system. So a slightly cooler day after a milder day ahead of that system. And then moving into the end of the week, we'll see the potential for another clipper system moving through the upper level flow once again late Friday into the early Saturday morning time frame. This looks to be a fairly similar system. Not a lot of precip with this system, looking fairly dry on the dry side at least, with very little to any accumulation. Looks to be a dusting to a half an inch possible, but again still quite a ways out, and could see that falling apart and drying out even more as we approach that, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. But right now it does not look to be too significant, except for on the back side of that where we see some colder air sinking back in for the weekend, likely bringing those temperatures back below freezing for high temperatures, and does look like we'll see a tighter pressure gradient as that low deepens off the coast, so that's going to bring some breezy conditions through the day on Saturday, but we'll see that start to relax as high pressure builds in moving into Sunday and into the beginning of next week. So looking at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, yellow risk for that wind advisory criteria through our working hours today. Do expect those winds out of the northwest, 10 to 15 knots, gusting up to 24 knots, so just below that threshold there, so can't rule out issuing a wind advisory at times as we move through the day today. We do have an orange risk for those wind chills in the single digits this morning, as we do expect those wind chills to be just along that threshold, and then towards the later part of the morning we'll see those wind chills in the teens moving into the rest of the day and into the 20s as we get later in the day. The actual high temperature will peak around 34 degrees, so as mentioned, above freezing for the first time in a few days. Going into the evening, we'll see those winds becoming light and variable with just a few clouds around in the mid and upper levels. Overall, mostly clear. And then we'll see our low temperature bottom out around 21 degrees. Tides running about a half a foot above normal. Tuesday, as mentioned, mostly quiet. Fairly quiet with partly to mostly cloudy conditions as those clouds increase ahead of that clipper system. High around 42 degrees, so quite milder than what we've seen the last several days. Will feel nice out there. Looking at green conditions for our weather risks. Tuesday night, we introduced that yellow risk for precip, as well as some reduced ceilings and visibilities with that chance for some light snow, some light rain mixing with possibly some snow. Again, starting after midnight, and should see that moving out of the area by sunrise or just thereafter, as it will be a quick mover. Little to no snow accumulation expected, as that will be some light precip. Wednesday looking quiet with green conditions across the board and seeing mostly cloudy conditions lingering around the area, and we'll see a high around 38 degrees. Extended forecast here, as mentioned, we'll see slightly breezy conditions. On Thursday, with partly cloudy conditions, a colder day, still just above freezing, but our high capping around 33 degrees. Once again, a slightly milder day ahead of that next clipper for Friday with a high in the upper 30s, possibly hitting 40 degrees. And then we introduce that slight chance for some light snow during the PM time frame or the evening time frame on Friday evening. Again, looks a bit drier than what we're seeing for Tuesday night. So not expecting anything too significant with that as it pushes through the area. And then backside of that, we will see some colder conditions with temperatures struggling to get to freezing for Saturday and Sunday with a mix of partly to mostly cloudy conditions. And again, Saturday looks to be fairly breezy on the backside of that next system, and then we'll see that relax as we go into the Sunday time frame. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.